A question comes in many people's mind: if there is God or no. Well, although I'm in no position to say that whether there's a God or no, but as a human being and as a believer, I feel there are forces, there is that energy, there is this natural force that exists, and this natural force we cumulatively say creation of God. The incarnation, when we say, is different forms. Like, for example, you have Ram. He was like any other human being, a prince, later on became king. But because of his virtues and good deeds, and irrespective of so many difficulties that he faced in his life, if you go through Ramayana, read through Ramayana, you'll find that so many difficulties he faced and he won all those difficulties. It may not have been very easy, it was difficult, but he did not give up in those difficulties. That virtue and the consistency that he maintained was appreciated by people. They took it as an example and they called it as Ram Rajya. When you say Ram Rajya means a place which is divine, honest, free from all bad things. And they started idealizing Ram, who was actually a prince and later on king. They started idealizing him, and gradually they felt the force, the magnificent force, and they felt drawn to him. They felt drawn to his ideologies. They felt drawn to the virtues that he had and the values that he had during his lifetime. And they started praying to that. And gradually, over a period of time, we started saying him as God because his level of exclusiveness was way, way high above any common person. He stood out from any of the common person. And so the commoners felt him to be like God. Same thing with Krishna. Krishna again, he uh, went through drastic difficulties from his childhood, but he overcame all the difficulties, and followed the path of dharma, that is virtue, honesty, values. And people then thought he was the savior, and they started looking at him as their savior from evil. And gradually, that force, it spreads, and more people get attached to that force, and they feel that he is the savior, and they start worshipping him, and they give him the position of God. Same thing with Buddha, Mahavir, um, Sai Baba, Gyaneshwar. Then you have so many others. Even with Jesus Christ, he was born a human, surrounded by so many enemies, tortured so badly, crucified, and in spite of that, he rose above all difficulties. He returned back as a superpower or a force. That force, which is a belief, people have belief in that force. They feel that that force will save them, and so they call as incarnation of God, where they think that God is actually the force. Some people have the special force, and this force from nature is extraordinary, which cannot be defined, it can be just felt. And this force leads to faith, it leads to something that you feel, your belief, something to which you attach your values to, and something that you even fear. And that helps you to always move in the right path and gives you strength to move in the right path so that you don't get distracted or don't do anything wrong. So, when we define this force in different forms, we may call it as God. No one has seen God. Nobody can say that I saw God. It's our belief and faith in certain incarnations or the forces which has helped us to evolve and which has helped us to face difficulties without getting distracted or distorted. That force in a form we can say in a layman's language as God.